It was an absolute miracle that someone else didn't get killed. His bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the man of steel. It should have just gone through and through. It's likely would have killed those standing behind him too. In the end, the coroner did find the bullet just beneath the skin. Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and the official narrative surrounding the Charlie Kirk situation has just taken a pivot into absolute ridiculous insanity la la land that I'm shocked that what I'm going to show you is real, but it is, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this post that was put out by Turning Point USA, declaring that, yes, Charlie Kirk was Superman. He's the man of steel. His bones are so dense that they're made of steel. I guess he had the, X-Men Wolverine adamantium infusion into his skeleton. Because, yes, this is actually what is being put out. So, yeah, here you go, Fox News Today. Man of Steel. Charlie Kirk's body stopped a bullet that would typically just go through everything. And it was an absolute miracle nobody else was killed. His surgeon told Turning Point USA. And another one, surgeon says Charlie Kirk's neck stopped a bullet from killing anyone else. He's like the man of steel. Okay, we're going to talk everything in this. We're going to talk ballistics. We're going to talk anatomy. We're going to talk physics. And we're going to look at the actual post Turning Point put out here in a second. I'm blown away by how stupid this is. They are now going to tell us that Charlie Kirk took a .30-06 round to the neck from 150 yards, and his neck stopped the bullet. No exit wound, no pass-through. They found the bullet just beneath the skin. And I'm going to show you some new ballistic tests with the .30-06 against human bone here in a second. But let's look at the actual post. Guys, I'm going to be honest, had some people send me this last night when it first dropped. I remember sitting on the couch next to my wife. She showed it to me. I read it, and I said, oh, that's so dumb. That's obviously fake. There's no way that's real. And I just moved on with it because this was so outrageously stupid that there was no way. There was no way that this was a real post. And then I wake up this morning to hundreds of you guys emailing me and messaging me this exact thing, that yes, this is in fact real. And I believe, as far as I know, Andrew Colvett here is the executive producer at Turning Point, and he put this post out last night. Let's make our way through it. All right, here we go. I want to address some of the discussion about the lack of an exit wound with Charlie. I'm usually not interested in delving into most of this kind of online chatter, and I apologize, this is somewhat graphic, but in this case, the fact that there wasn't an exit wound is probably another miracle, and I want people to know. I just spoke with the surgeon who worked on Charlie in the hospital. That seems weird because that's a violation of HIPAA, but okay, let's keep moving. He said the bullet absolutely should have gone through, which is very, very normal for a high-powered, high-velocity round, for a .30-06 round. Yes, it is. I've seen wounds from this caliber many times, and they always just go through everything. This would have taken a moose or two down, an elk, etc. Yes, a .30-06 round can penetrate through and through an elk. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But it didn't go through. Charlie's body stopped it. I mentioned to his doctor that there were dozens of staff, students, and special guests standing directly behind Charlie on the other side of the tent, and he replied, it was an absolute miracle that someone else didn't get killed. His bone was so healthy, and the density was so impressive that he's like the man of steel. It should have just gone through and through. It's likely would have killed those standing behind him too. In the end, the coroner did find the bullet just beneath the skin. Even in death, Charlie managed to save the lives of those around him. Remarkable. Miraculous. You guys know how fucking stupid that whole thing is, right? I'm sorry to be a little bit rude and disrespectful here. They even say, because they know people like me are going to say, yeah, no, actually a .30-06 round will go through and through a elk at 500 meters. So no. So they had to put all those things in there. Typically, it would have gone through anything. Yeah, we're going to talk about the things that a .30-06 round will go through at 150 meters and show you some ballistics here next. Not possible. None of this story is possible. Like physiologically, physically, through physics, none of it is possible. I am so blown away that they are going to, the official narrative now is it's a miracle, and Charlie Kirk's bone density is that of steel. That's part of the official narrative now. From Turning Point. All right, now before we get into the ballistic test to prove this point, here's what's crazy to me. Do these people not realize who's in America, what we did for the last 20 years? Do you know how many tens of thousands of global war on terror veterans there are that know exactly what it looks like when a high-powered rifle round hits a human body, especially in an area like soft tissue in the neck? You know how many people hunt out there and know exactly what a 30-06 round does to an elk skeleton or bone? We're not dumb. This ain't going to work. This man of steel, his bone density, let's talk about this, okay? Let's talk about some things a 30-06 can do. From out to about 400 to 500 yards, a 30-06 can penetrate elk bone. Why is that significant? Elk bone is significantly more dense and strong than human bone. Why? Because elk get up to almost 1,000 pounds. And so the bone has to be extremely dense to carry that much weight. Now, let's compare it to human, okay? Well, for one, let's talk about where Charlie got shot. He got shot here in the carotid. If that did hit a vertebrae in his neck, let's understand that neck vertebrae is some of the most fragile bone in the human body because it's so flexible to handle what we do with our neck. So what they're telling you is a 30-06 round, which can blow through elk bone, was stopped by Charlie Kirk's neck and a vertebrae. If you believe that, God bless your little heart. Now let's look at this actual ballistics test. All right, so we're going to watch a video from US Overwatch. He just put out this a day ago. Very good video. Let's check it out. I'll put his link in the pinned comment and description if you want to watch the whole video.
So our first shot will be a cold bore shot, and we will just see what kind of results we are able to duplicate.
All right, so he's got some very thick bone here across the strap of this dummy. Obviously, this would be far thicker and stronger than a human vertebrae in the neck. Let's see what this 30-06 rounds does to it. Wow. All right, from this angle, as you can see here. Huh. Not only does it go through that bone, it explodes the bone, blows through the dummy. Also, as we'll see here in a second, blows through the wall behind it.
Like we did kind of also think, the bone stood no chance against a 30 caliber round traveling at that high of a velocity. So now we're going to give it, reset it back up and put the ballistic plate in front of it and see if we can't duplicate that shot as well.
Right now he actually shoots a ballistic plate with 30-06 round. Destroys the plate. Second things there, just ripped the entire half of that plate off. So there you go, guys. You just saw, I mean, right there for you, 30-06 round. Damage it's going to do, went through way bigger bone than a vertebrae, through the dummy, through the wall. Blew the entire top section of that ballistic plate off. But Charlie Kirk's neck, flesh and a little vertebrae, stopped that round. And it's not just me. I looked at every single one of these posts and I went to the comment section. What do the regular populace think about this when they heard this? All right, so from the post from the right-winged angel, Turning Point USA spokesman Andrew Covett said Saturday that Charlie Kirk's surgeon called it an absolute miracle. And the very first comment, bullshit button. That's not how bullets work. Bruh, ain't no way you believe this. I follow this account just to see the lack of critical thinking and laugh. This is a fantasy feel-good. Makes no sense. But now here's the problem, because you're actually going to have tons of people out here that are going to leave this type of comment. Wow, amazing how many people follow you who can't believe in a miracle. God was at work through the life of this man, Charlie Kirk. This is so unbelievable for those who can't see God in his creation. Look, man. First of all, if this was a miracle, why didn't he, the miracle would have been Charlie got shot in the throat and he managed to live. What's the miracle here? The bullet didn't pass through? That's it? That's what we're going to call a miracle? So this now just raises way more questions. So here's where we're at. Is it possible that the autopsy report showed that Charlie was shot in the neck and the bullet potentially didn't make it through? Sure. If it was maybe a pistol round, is it possible that a 30-06 round was stopped by Charlie's neck vertebrae? No, it's not. There's a 0% chance of that happening. That's not possible. It's not a thing. So here lies the problem. Okay, FBI. We now have supposedly the coroner and the surgeon saying that bullet didn't pass through. It lodged just below the skin. Okay, so now we know it wasn't a 30-06. So who's the shooter? FBI? Where's the actual gun? FBI? Again, these things don't match up. The official story does not work now with this surgeon report. This is apparently going to be the official story. The official story up to this point was already obviously bullshit. But now I'm 100% confident, at least in that this was not a 30-06 round. It's just not possible. Because if we're going with the surgeon report that, yes, the bullet just lodged just beneath the neck, not physically possible. Because here's the official story. This kid drives from 3 hours away, shows up, changes his clothes, has a broken down rifle in his backpack, goes to the roof, changes his clothes, reassembles the rifle, takes the shot with a 30-06 from 150 yards that hits Charlie directly in the neck. And that bullet was somehow stopped by Charlie Kirk's small vertebrae in his neck, the man of steel. It's a miracle. We're going with that's the explanation now. The official story now is claiming this is a miracle. There we go. To add to the FBI's story, it's a miracle. And Charlie Kirk was the man of steel. I'm so blown away that this is where we're at with this. I can't imagine any of you watching this are going, yep, sounds good. This kid just drove from 3 hours away. Rifle broke down in his backpack, his magic backpack, with his changes clothes. He goes to the roof, changes his clothes, reassembles the rifle, takes the shot with a 30-06 from 150 yards, which, by the way, this got me thinking. I watched this clip, and you guys might not think there's not that much to it, but I think there is. All right, you might think at first, oh, this isn't that big of a deal. So what we have here is a kid being interviewed when the gunshot rings off and a little bit of an aftermath. I want you to watch it, and there was something I noticed about this. Okay, why is this important? You hear the gunshot ring off. It's not that loud. The kid being interviewed and the people behind him don't even flinch. They don't move. They don't go, what the was that? I'll play it again. All those people still on the balcony. One kid kind of just like, what was that? Kid being interviewed didn't even sound like he even heard it. You guys realize if a 30-06, that's basically an amphitheater, right? Dug down into the ground, big buildings everywhere. The acoustics on this would be insane. You guys realize if a 30-06, and we know it wasn't a suppressed 30-06, we've seen the FBI picture of the weapon. If a 30-06 would have gone off within 100 meters or so of these kids, everyone in that amphitheater would have immediately gone, ooh, it would have sounded like a bomb going off. But these kids didn't even flinch, which tells me it was most likely a small caliber round or a suppressed round, be it a pistol round, be it a suppressed 5.56 round. That's what that reaction tells me. That reaction from those kids, none of them barely even flinched when that gunshot went off. And this isn't even the end of the suspiciousness. There's a lot of questions of where is this camera footage? I'll probably have to get into that in a different video because there's a ton of cluster behind that as well. But the video will get too long for that. And guys, if you're calling people like me a conspiracy theorist right now for looking at this story and looking at posts like that and going, that's total bullshit, guys, I'm sorry. But this is from top to bottom, start to finish. This entire thing has been pathetic from the FBI. Again, I don't know if it's nefarious or if it's just extreme incompetency. And now with these posts, the surgeon saying it's a miracle that Charlie's the man of steel. His bone density and his vertebrae is strong enough to stop a 30-06 round. Fuck off, dude. That's where I'm at this point. I think the American public deserves some truth because I think we're all just super tired of being lied about. The same FBI that continues to cover up the Epstein files, even up until yesterday. Kash Patel saying Epstein never trafficked children to anyone now. I mean, it's outrageous, all of this. We need some real answers. We need some real transparency. And guess what? We're not going to get it. because this is the official story now. And the FBI can't backtrack. The FBI has already got the suspect and they already got the murder weapon. So now they have to make the narrative fit. And so how are they going to make the narrative fit? They're going to make the narrative fit by calling it a miracle and that Charlie Kirk is Superman. That's how they're going to make this narrative fit. All right, guys, I'm just a little frustrated after this. I read this post and I was so blown away by how stupid it was and the fact that there probably will be people that believe this. And that's a disservice to Charlie. So, yeah, we're going to continue, all of us in the space that have, knowledge about this type of stuff. We're going to continue, pushing the gas pedal and saying, give us the truth. Because, again, this is ridiculous. So that's going to do it for this one. If you guys, again, thank you so much for everybody who's been sending me information and new videos and everything. It's helped a lot. And, we'll probably try to look into this, what's going on with this camera and the weird shit behind it and the guy at Turning Point ripping all the SD cards out of it before the FBI got there. Very, very odd stuff as well. So I'll catch y'all in the next one.